What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ango, and welcome to the Ango Show live. We have a special live episode of the Ango Show. To be honest, I want to try something different. I love live streaming. I've done live streams on the channel before, and I've been super excited about trying something different. Obviously, I mentioned on my Royal Rumble post show, which, by the way, we had over 700 live viewers, so thank you for that. I mentioned I might possibly want to buy StreamYard. I've never used it. This is my second time using it. I just want to try something different. I like the fact that I could bring up your guys' comments on the screen. There's a lot of cool things I can do with this software. So I figured we could talk about wrestling news, chat with the community, bring your questions about wrestling. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll do a morning show. Maybe we'll do 2 videos a day with news, and then we'll go live every morning talking about some of those big stories, more in detail, whatever it may be. But shout out to all of you guys for joining me tonight. Holy shit. It is 10 in the morning Eastern time. And so obviously if you're in the West Coast, it might be like 7 a.m. or whatever it is. But nonetheless, thank you guys for joining me. Today we're talking about Jey Uso. We're talking about Elimination Chamber. We're talking about Ricky Starks. We're talking about a whole bunch of stuff. In fact, with my live shows, we're talking about whatever the hell you want to talk about. So, of course, I'll be bringing up your guys' comments on the screen. I think that's really fun and really important. I really enjoyed doing that during the Royal Rumble show. So if you guys got questions, go ahead and do so. Really quickly, we did get a couple super chats, so we're going to kick things off with that. Bacon Time 1234 dropping a $4.99 super chat. Feeling generous today. Shout out to you, Bacon Time 1234 1234. I don't know. I really do appreciate the super chats, though, guys. If you guys want to drop super chats, if you guys want to become a member on the channel, definitely consider doing that. Tons of cool perks, and it's a really great feeling just to see the community come together. A lot of great things happening, so I definitely appreciate that. We got more super chats. We're going to get these out of the way, then we'll start talking about some wrestling stuff. Tantalizing Tony's Wrestling Show. What up, brother? Thank you for stopping by. Guys, this is another creator in the scene of pro wrestling. Check him out. The cool thing about wrestling is I think it's great to have more than one opinion. Whether you agree, disagree, I think having conversations and talking about wrestling is just great. The more, the better. So shout out to Tantalizing Tony. He says Bloodline is the best wrestling storyline ever. I agree 120%. This has literally become one of my favorite storylines of all time. I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about that in today's live stream because we are talking about Jey Uso, who announced that he is out of the Bloodline. So being that he says he is out of the Bloodline, I'm going to tell you guys why it's my favorite storyline ever and why it is the best storyline ever. You might agree, you might disagree, but nonetheless, we got to talk about it. Shout out to Tantalizing Tony Wrestling Show. We got a couple more super chats. Bacon Time 1234 dropped another one. Nightbot warning me for saying Ango's the best YouTube. Dude, I can't control Nightbot. If somebody knows how to work Nightbot, I will be absolutely happy to try to figure that out. I don't know whatsoever how to go about that, to be honest with you. I'm trying to make it where Nightbot doesn't time people out for being spam, but unfortunately it's unfortunate. It's just kind of the way it is, and that's kind of, it sucks, but nonetheless, we're going to talk about it because Nightbot, like, I hate to take time away from the show to talk about Nightbot, but it's a work in progress, guys. I'm trying to elevate my live streams, trying different ideas, and that's why I want to go live today. So shout out to Bacon Time for the super chat. We got more super chats. Let's see. Drill Season TV did not leave a super chat, but did say I can help you with streaming on Discord or so. Yeah, if you would like to help me, go ahead and join the Discord. The link is in the description down below. I'll be happy to take some advice on that. Let's see. We did get some more super chats. Tantalizing Tony dropped another one for $9.99. Thanks for the advice last week. Brother, no problem. I don't mind helping people at all. If you have more questions, if you need more insight, whatever I can do to help, let me know. I'll try my best. I think it's really dope to see more content creators in the space. I want to bring more content creators on my channel. So we could talk about that too, brother. Thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Appreciate you. Albert Pons drop in a $5 one. Ango, any news on 2 free agents who had dark matches this weekend? Is Tony looking to add more toys? LOL. Roman versus Sammy at Elimination Chamber is going to be fire. Shout out to Albert Pons. Really great super chat here. Any news on 2 free agents who had dark matches this weekend? That's a great question. As of right now, there is none. And actually, across the board with AEW and WWE, they've been having people work matches that might not be signed to the company. But WWE is definitely, from what I am seeing, WWE and AEW are definitely looking at opening up that checkbook and signing more signings. And with WWE potentially signing new people, I think it is really important for people to understand that WWE and AEW, you're going to see talent shift between both companies. Bodie Hayward from WWE, he was released from NXT. Now he's working AEW Dark, Elevation, or whatever the hell it is. And obviously, in a situation like that with WWE releasing somebody, AEW is going to sign them. The reality is AEW is going to have people, and they're going to sign with WWE at some point, which is why we're talking about Ricky Starks in today's live stream. We'll get to that in just a moment because, yes, we are talking about that. Ricky Starks, Royal Rumble. This is bigger than I think people even realize. I'm going to explain why in just a moment. Shout out to Albert Ponce for the $5 super chat. He also said Roman versus Sammy at Elimination Chamber is going to be fire. Yes. 1,000,000%. I see a lot of times people in today's day and age are criticizing WWE for some reason for having Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble. And why is Sami Zayn not wrestling Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? I'm going to break this down for you guys in just a second because I literally love explaining this because I'm going to teach people something called logic. I'm going to remind wrestling fans what happened in the last 2 years with the Bloodline story. Because anybody talking about Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, I'm sorry. I love it as a wrestling fan. I think it would be absolutely incredible because I love the storyline so much, but it should not happen, and I'm going to explain why. Shout out to Albert Ponce for the super chat. We got more. My boy Philip, who should headline night 2 of WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes or Sami Zayn? Great question. We're going to talk about this, but 1,000% it should not be Sami Zayn. 1,000% it should not be Sami Zayn. I'm going to tell you guys my prediction, my belief of what's truly going to happen, and I think you guys will like it. I think you guys will be excited. Shout out to Philip, my man. Appreciate you. We got even more super chats. Holy shit. Bacon time, 1, 2, 3, 4. Monday Night Raw predictions. This is a great question. For a $1.99 super chat, I'm going to answer it right here. What do I think is going to happen on WWE Monday Night Raw? Well, I think Cody Rhodes is immediately going to challenge Roman Reigns. We're going to get that beautiful, emotional, heartfelt version of Cody Rhodes. He's going to talk about Dusty Rhodes. He's going to talk about his ultimate goal of becoming WWE champion. And I think tonight is the night where he officially challenges Roman Reigns. I think tonight's Raw is going to be a very interesting Raw. In fact, I don't know what else to expect. I think we might get Asuka. We might get Nia Jax. We might get some stuff, follow-ups from WWE Raw. I'm sure we'll see the Judgment Day and Edge and Beth Phoenix to some capacity, but I don't know what to expect tonight. I don't even know if tonight's Raw is going to be a good episode, to be honest with you, because I think right after Royal Rumble, what do you do? This is the road to WrestleMania, my friends. What are you going to do tonight? I think Cody Rhodes is pretty much a set thing, but other than that, I genuinely just don't know what to expect. So I do know I believe Cody Rhodes will challenge Roman Reigns. Let's get that out of the way. Everything else, I'm hoping is a mere surprise for me. Shout out to all you guys for the super chats. I think we got even more super chats I'm trying to keep up with. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Okay, we don't. So this is where we get into the wrestling talk. Thank you guys for the super chats throughout the show. If you want to drop one, I'll pull it up on the screen. If you haven't clicked that like button, by the way, please do. I would greatly appreciate it. But really quick, let's talk about some wrestling. And I want to start with the Bloodline because there is something so incredibly important to mention here. Clip this. If you want, clip this. Put it out there on YouTube Shorts. Put it out there on Twitter. Tell the world because this is true. Cameron Johnson says, yo, what's up, Ango? Sammy versus Roman at Elimination Chamber will be epic. Cameron, thank you. It will be epic. Now, somebody might be asking me, Ango, why in the hell do you not think it should be Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Now, I want to take my viewers back. I want to take you all back 2 years ago when the Bloodline story became a thing. Who was the first person to become an issue for Roman Reigns? It was Jey Uso. When Sami Zayn joined the Bloodline as the honorary Us, did Sami Zayn say that he wanted to join the Bloodline so he could become a world champion? Did Sami Zayn say that he wanted to join the Bloodline so he can dethrone Roman Reigns? There's no teases of like this operation for him to take out Roman Reigns. Guys, Sami Zayn was looking to be accepted by the Bloodline. Now, you might be wondering, why would Sami Zayn rather be accepted by the Bloodline than be a world champion? The story was never about championship gold. Sami Zayn was an intercontinental champion. Sami Zayn wrestled at WrestleMania at Jackass. What Jackass? Fucking what's his name? Johnny Knoxville. He wanted to be accepted by Roman Reigns. Jey Uso, on the other hand, 2 years ago, started this incredible storyline with Roman Reigns. He wanted the championship gold. He did not want to fall in line with the Bloodline. People are forgetting this. So when you think logically of what happened in the beginning of this storyline, it was never about Sami Zayn becoming champion. It was never about Jey Uso joining the Bloodline. Jey Uso wanted to be on his own. Now, under the orders of Roman Reigns and the manipulation of the Bloodline, Jey Uso and Sami Zayn butted heads. Jey Uso was not with it. At the end of the day, he saw beyond all of this. He was not with it. And this is why storytelling is so good and so complex, and why it's so important to a storyline, because Jimmy Uso and Sami Zayn were best friends. They were homies, right? We've seen this. Now, what ends up happening is Sami Zayn, when he finally decides to turn on Roman Reigns, the first thing he does is he says he is sorry to Jey Uso, because the guy who gave Sami Zayn the hardest time throughout the last 2 years, throughout the entire duration of the storyline, was Jey Uso. We saw last Monday, Jey Uso had Sami Zayn's back. Sami did not want to hit Roman Reigns with the chair. I think what really happened here was Sami Zayn saw what Roman Reigns was doing was a little too far. This was not some little underground operation type thing. This was not a situation in which, realistically, it's the way I see it, but it was not an operation for, I'm going to join the Bloodline and I'm gonna take advantage of this. No, this is a story of Sami Zayn, who fought so hard to be accepted by somebody, and once he got accepted, he finally got to realize that the people that he got accepted by were not good people. But he looked into the eyes of Jey Uso and said, "I'm sorry," because he saw the good in Jey Uso. Now, if you think about it from a storyline perspective, think about how interesting that is when you see that Sami Zayn was always celebrated by Jimmy Uso, but Jimmy Uso was the first one to hit him with the super kick. So no, to me, it never made sense for Sami Zayn to go and wrestle Roman Reigns for a world championship at WrestleMania. In fact, I'm going to throw this out there. I'm not saying there's a report here. I'm not saying this has been reported. I'm not saying this is factual. I'm just talking as a pure wrestling fan. Okay. Ideally, Cody Rhodes, night 1, wins the WWE Championship from Roman Reigns. Night 2, The Rock versus Roman Reigns still happens. At Elimination Chamber in Montreal, maybe you can have Roman Reigns show up just one time. One time, challenge him, says he's going to end the Bloodline, take the championship from him, whatever. Night 2 is Roman Reigns versus The Rock, and that would make more sense. I love Sami Zayn. I think he is absolutely incredible. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at pure logic, when you're looking at pure storytelling, I'm telling you guys right now, it does not make sense. The story has never been about a championship belt. Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber. This is the rumored match. This is the spoiled match. This is the main event match. If that is in fact the case, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm going to say it. I genuinely don't believe Sami Zayn should win. Sami Zayn coming back with Kevin Owens as a tag team would make more sense, logically speaking, because it was always about being accepted. And even after the Bloodline turns on Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens can see past that and say, Sami, we're brothers. We're going to go for those tag titles. Again, I'm just thinking about logic and storytelling. And you cannot sit here, just because the fan reaction is all about Sami Zayn, you cannot sit here and be like, Sami Zayn should be the champion, because that doesn't make sense of the storyline. Sami Zayn should not beat Roman Reigns. At the end of the day, he really should not beat Roman Reigns. I don't believe it. Now, as a wrestling fan, forget about the storytelling, forget about all these things. As a wrestling fan, would I love to see Sami Zayn as a world champion? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit there and lie. I would love to see it. But if you're telling a story and you really, really want to talk about logic, you have to do it that way. And I think that's totally okay. That's totally acceptable. And yeah, I'm super excited about it. I think regardless, Jey Uso quitting the Bloodline is going to be a major part of the story for Elimination Chamber. Hell, if The Rock can't show up, then honestly, you have Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns, and that would be actually more logical because that's what he wanted the entire time. Just saying. Think about that for a second. Guys, we got some more super chats. Tantalizing Tony Wrestling Show 999. He says, I think Jey Uso or Kevin Owens to help Sami win the title at Elimination Chamber. That way, Roman still looks strong at WrestleMania. Yeah, again, you can go and fantasy book this no matter however way you want, right? But storyline-wise, it does not make sense. It actually makes more logical sense for Jey Uso to be the one to hunt down the World Championship belt from Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn. Because again, it was about acceptance. It wasn't about the title. So can you do this? Would it work? Yes. Do you end nearly a 1,000-day title reign by this? You don't. I don't think so, to be honest. I think the idea here is protecting Roman Reigns and that Universal Championship reign. He's held it. I mean, this guy, and I said this too, right? I said that Roman Reigns is holding the belt until WrestleMania 40. And I stand by that. I think, truth be told, if Roman Reigns, because WWE, in my opinion, you know, they've been talking a lot about Hulk Hogan, Bob Backlund, Bruno Sammartino. Like, they mention these names a lot on commentary now. They want that for Roman Reigns. They want Roman Reigns to go down as the greatest world champion in the company history. And I don't blame them. The Bloodline story is literally the best story of all time, in my opinion. It's literally, I don't know all time, but for a very, very long time, it's my favorite wrestling storyline. So I can see that WWE would have him hold the championship a lot longer while still having Cody Rhodes win the WWE championship. And, you know, we'll see. Maybe, you know, earlier in the stream, somebody said, hey, Raw predictions. Maybe something that can happen is WWE, you know, the Bloodline keeps causing this carnage on WWE Raw. Adam Pearce just strips, you know, Roman Reigns from the WWE championship. Cody Rhodes is guaranteed the main event spot, and then everybody else has to have a tournament to beat Cody Rhodes for the vacant WWE championship. You can do something like that too. There's a lot of things that you can do in this situation. So I appreciate the super chat, but I just got to remain firm. I don't think you're going to have Roman drop the belt to Sami. But the cool thing is, literally at any point, anything could happen, and that's what's going to be really interesting, in my opinion. We did get some more super chats. Gianna Forever dropped a $4.99 super chat. Great profile photo, by the way. No comments from Gianna Forever. So thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Albert Ponce dropping a super chat for $5. I kind of feel WWE has backed itself into a corner because fans are demanding Sami beat Roman and are not going after tag gold at Mania. Well, fans need to stop thinking with their, you know, with Twitter feeds, right? This is the issue. Twitter is not the sole Twitter is not the sole what is it? What's the word I'm thinking of? Twitter is not going to decide everything, right? Discord is not going to decide everything. Ango's opinions and fantasy booking is not going to be the ultimate decider. WWE is doing a lot of research on the back end of things. And I think Sami Zayn is absolutely over. The crowd reactions are great. But again, I just don't think storyline-wise it makes sense. And WWE has done such a great job with the storytelling here that they're not really backed into a corner. It's only an issue if they really bury Sami Zayn. But like if Sami Zayn starts telling the story now with Kevin Owens and the reunion very quickly, I don't think it's an issue. I don't think the longer and longer and longer that you steer away from Sami and Kevin Owens reuniting, I think that's when it becomes an issue. But right now, it definitely doesn't. Thank you, Albert, for the super chat. Did we get more super chats? I feel like we did, but there's so many comments. I'm trying to keep up with it. A lot of stuff. Okay, no, cool. Thank you guys. Over 300 plus viewers. Thank you guys all for joining. If you haven't clicked that like button, definitely do so. I'd greatly appreciate it. Seriously, like it would mean so much to me if you guys were able to do that. Seriously. But lots of stuff in the chat. Let's go. Let's bring up some comments. Nate, the head of Talent TV, says, isn't the Rock rumor versus Roman night 1 and Roman versus Cody night 2? Yeah, I mean, that could very well be the case, but the thing about the Rock rumors, unfortunately, the Rock didn't show up at Royal Rumble. And I talked about this on my Royal Rumble live stream. You had reports saying that the Rock was showing up. Then you had reports saying the Rock wasn't showing up. Triple H talked about it at the press conference. You know, I think the issue here is nobody really knows what the hell is happening with the Rock. So, unfortunately, you have all these big sources coming out talking about this stuff, but like there's nothing to it. Like there's no anything to it, unfortunately. So I don't know what to think of The Rock coming back. To me personally, I just think off of my pure belief, The Rock is going to be there. I would do The Rock night 2. I want the visual of the Bloodline standing strong, personally speaking. Great comment though. Y'all got to let this match Rock go. Oh, you got to let this Rock match go. No, definitely not. Definitely not. Santos says, ever since Sami entered the Bloodline, the entire story has been Sami and KO versus the Usos, not Roman versus Sami. Thank you, brother. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's never been about chasing individual gold. This guy wanted to be accepted. Nobody accepted him. He was put in a freaking match with Johnny Knoxville. You know what I mean? So it's unfortunate. It's just kind of the way it is. Brave Radar says, Ango, the Bloodline is the modern day NWO. I think it's better than the NWO. I think the Bloodline is the best faction. And I get it. Some people will disagree and stuff, but I think the Bloodline is actually a way, 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 way better storyline, way better group, way better faction. It's just my opinion, but yeah. Denise Lane, look, please don't be rude in the chat. Positive channel. This is a positive channel. That's right. We stay positive. That's why we have Nightbot. Guys, please respect the rules. Please be friendly. Please be nice to one another. This is about building a community. So if you guys aren't in the community, let's actually throw this up here. We do have Discords and all that good stuff. So don't forget about that. Also, if you want to support the channel, consider dropping a super chat, or you could actually donate on my website as well. www.ango.live. What's really cool is if you do donate on the website versus super chat, you get a video response from me as a thank you. Tantalizing Tony dropping a $4.99 super chat. I definitely agree with what you're saying. I'm fantasy booking with my heart, LOL, but logically you're definitely on point. By the way, there is nothing wrong with fantasy booking with your heart, because I do this all the time. I love to fantasy book with my heart. I love coming up with stories and ideas and like all of these different things. I think the biggest thing that I've realized, though, and this is just the reality, right? Wrestling fans, we are good at fantasy booking wrestling. We really are. Like, we're phenomenal at it. Like, I go on Twitter, I go on our Discord, I see people in the way that we're fantasy booking. I love it. I think we fantasy book this stuff incredibly well. Sometimes I think it's too good, because what ends up happening is we fantasy book so well in our heads, we're like, damn, this is incredible. But then it doesn't happen. And we're like, well, dude, it sounds so realistic. Why didn't it happen? Unfortunately, wrestling, especially under Triple H, is different than it was before. Like, with Triple H, anything could freaking happen. If Triple H, look, here's the thing. If Triple H gave us Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, forget about Elimination Chamber. At Elimination Chamber, it's just another pay-per-view. I don't give a shit. But for WrestleMania, if that was the big payoff, I would criticize it. I would criticize it. As a YouTuber who does wrestling analysis, right? My job is to break down stories and logic and the storytelling aspect of WWE and AEW. I would criticize that. But as a fan, I would also tell you guys, oh, I love it. Because I like Sami Zayn. I like Roman Reigns. But when I'm talking about the logic portion of it, I would definitely be like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Now, can WWE make it make sense? Of course you can. Triple H can do that. But from what I'm seeing, it's January 30th. The only thing that really built up a world championship match is Sami Zayn turning on the Bloodline. But in the last 9 months or 8 months, whatever it was, the storyline of Sami Zayn joining the Bloodline literally had nothing to do with him ever. There was never ever teases of Sami Zayn turning on the Bloodline. There was always teases of the Bloodline turning on Sami Zayn. So that's why I say, logically speaking, and I appreciate that you agree with me, but yeah, there is literally nothing wrong with fantasy booking with your heart. I think it's a good thing. I think that's what makes wrestling super cool. Drill Season TV says Ango is the best YouTuber on YouTube. Let's go. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Guys, we got some more stuff. Tony Kaname Karan. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I might have not, but nothing but respect to Ango and his channel. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully you guys are having a good time on the chat. I'm trying to keep up with it. There's a lot of super chats, a lot of stuff happening, so it is somewhat difficult, but yes, great question from Nate. Thoughts on Jay White not showing up at Rumble, and do you think he goes to AEW or stays in New Japan Pro Wrestling? So there's mixed reports here. Jay White going to AEW or WWE, I don't think he stays in New Japan. I think for a fact he doesn't go to New Japan. The rumors and the reports that were coming out was that Jay White was headed to WWE initially. Now you're seeing reports come out that Jay White is headed to AEW. Ango believes at this stage of the game, it doesn't really matter where he goes. He will be successful in both companies. However, I would rather see Jay White in WWE, but also that's not me thinking with logic. That's me thinking with my heart. And I got to mention that because years and years ago, I always did fantasy booking videos and I would talk about Jay White and Seth Rollins, Jay White and Dean Ambrose, Jay White and Roman Reigns, Jay White and John Cena. So me personally, that's what I would like to see more. But I'm okay with him showing up in AEW or WWE. I absolutely do not think he stays in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's talk a little bit about Ricky Starks, by the way. Did you guys see the photo of Ricky Starks? Ricky Starks, and let's see if I could pull this up, actually. I've never done this with StreamYard. But Ricky Starks was spotted backstage. Let's see. Let's see if I could get this pulled up. I could get this pulled up. I could share screen, I think, is how I do it. Share screen. All right, hopefully you guys can see this picture. Ricky Starks was backstage with Cody Rhodes at the Royal Rumble. And obviously, a lot of people are talking about it. That was really strange. Ricky Starks was backstage with Cody Rhodes, and people are like freaking out about it. Well, they're friends. We know that. But I want people to think about something for a second. If my friend works in a different company and I'm happy in my company, and I can tell my friend, hey, I can get you paid more money, could get you on TV, I could get you in the big programs, I can do all of these different things. Would you guys agree that my friend might entertain the idea of coming to my company? He was there to support his friend. But having a relationship like that, I could see being very beneficial to Ricky Starks, if WWE is in fact interested. Now, keep in mind, WWE was interested in Ricky Starks before. But of course, people are talking about Ricky Starks. And I think it's important to realize, one, he's in contract with AEW. So he's not going to be going to WWE at this point. But I just genuinely feel like Ricky Starks being at Royal Rumble tells me, again, he's supporting his friend. I'm not stupid. I acknowledge that. But it tells me that he has a great relationship with Cody, to the point where if Cody Rhodes chooses to, if WWE chooses to use Cody Rhodes in this situation, they can easily use him to recruit Ricky Starks. Now, would Cody Rhodes do that? I don't know. The reason why I bring this up, Albert Ponce just hit it right here. Wasn't Cody at Sammy and Tay's wedding? Yes. Because they're friends. And you're allowed to have friends that don't work in the same company, by the way. I do feel like that is important to mention. But having that type of relationship or friendship opens up a door for more communication and stuff like that. That's why I'm bringing that up. It's definitely interesting to me. We got a super chat. Let's see. Lan Maya. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Hi, Ango. I always enjoy your wrestling content. Do you have a favorite Royal Rumble moment prior to this year? Great question. Yes, I do. This is a good question. I got to think about it, though. There was a moment in the Royal Rumble. Shit, actually, this is a good question. I can't think of what it would be, actually. I cannot think of what it would be. One of my favorite Rumble moments. This is a freaking good question, but honestly, I can't think about it because, you know, with the Royal Rumble too, unfortunately, in years past, I always liked the comedy spots, right? So, like, I hate to say this, but when Santino Marella got eliminated in like 2 seconds, you know, like, I like stuff like that. I pop for stuff like that. But in terms of like some serious stuff, I do remember, like, as a kid, I had some really good memories with like Stone Cold. I think it was Stone Cold Steve Austin winning in 1998. I think that's like one of my favorites. But yeah, it's a good question. Honestly, I don't know how to answer that. There's a couple moments that I liked. I definitely like Stone Cold winning in 1998. And then I think deep down inside too, the Undertaker and Maven spot was always like a really cool spot to me. Like, I always like that moment. But also in this Royal Rumble too, I got to give props to like Logan Paul and Ricochet. They pulled off some cool stuff. Logan Paul eliminating Seth Rollins, Gunther going pretty much all the way was pretty dope. So very hard to answer this question. It took me a minute to think, but there was definitely some good moments for sure. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate that. We got some more stuff in the chat. Great question here. I kind of want to talk about this too. What happened to Karrion Kross? This is a fantastic question because Karrion Kross was eliminated relatively early. So I just kind of want to explain this to you guys. No, Karrion Kross isn't being buried. Karrion Kross was supposed to have some spots with Rey Mysterio in the Royal Rumble to further their story. A lot of people didn't know this. Rey Mysterio, Karrion Kross were supposed to have these spots. Rey Mysterio was legitimately injured, hence why he didn't enter the Royal Rumble, hence why Dom Mysterio, they basically called the plan for Dominic Mysterio to come out with the Rey Mysterio mask, basically implying that Rey Mysterio was not in the match or whatever. Rey Mysterio was supposed to be in the match. He was supposed to have significant spots with Dominic Mysterio and Karrion Kross. Then that would have continued the story between Rey and Karrion Kross. So what happened to Karrion Kross was just a matter of the guy that he was supposed to work with in the Rumble wasn't there. He's not going to be in the Rumble that long. He's not going to take up time from other people. He's currently in an existing storyline. you're not going to use that match as a way for him to start a new storyline somewhere else. Bob Dylan says, you guys ever think Ricky showed up to support his friend Cody on the biggest night of Cody's life in his wrestling career ever? I think that's what I said. Randy says he was at the Royal Rumble. The show was awesome. I agree. Let's see. Quentin Berkeley says, is Nia Jax full-time or part-time in the WWE? It appears she is full-time in the WWE. So, don't know exactly what that means. I don't know. Really, to be honest with you, I don't know what that means. Like, with her, like, I don't know if she's going to be, like, joining the Bloodline type of shit. I don't know if she's going to be joining, like, the Raw SmackDown Women's Division, going for championship gold. I really don't know. I don't have anything personally against Nia Jax. I think she's cool, whatever, but I don't understand why they brought her back when there was other people they could have signed or brought back. I don't know. I'm curious to see what they're going to do, but supposedly she is full-time. Let's see. DC Vlogs 2904 says, do you think Dolph Ziggler will leave for AEW? He's not getting booked very well in WWE. Absolutely not. Dolph Ziggler, he's got a lot of things going on outside of just wrestling, so WWE is allowing him to do those things. He's the veteran. It would make no sense for him to go to AEW, and Tony Khan, I think, in my opinion, would be pretty dumb to sign him, because Tony Khan needs to actually start signing guys who are going to make him a shit ton of money, not guys who are just good in-ring workers, and that's just the truth. Can you bring up Booker T not going over the top so technically he never lost it? This is a good question. I don't remember this, so I'll have to watch that back just because I really don't know. I really don't remember him not going over the top rope. But if that's the case, then Booker T is going to WrestleMania. Hey, Ango, curious on if the reported Cena Theory match means they're going to take the U.S. title off Austin before Mania. I hope not, but you never know. You could, right? Essentially, you could have Theory drop the U.S. title. It would not be a big deal if they did, because him and Cena doesn't need to be for the U.S. title. But I'm not going to lie. Theory beating Cena at WrestleMania would be pretty awesome if Theory was still holding the championship. So, opinion-wise, I think it's going to be for the U.S. title, and I think it would make a lot of sense, and it would be good for the U.S. championship to be defended in such a high-caliber match. Albert Pond says the dirt sheets have reported that Tony Khan has already been speaking with Jey thanks to a working relationship. If true, that gives AEW an advantage for signing free agents before their deal is up. What are your thoughts? This is a good question. This is a really good point. If the dirt sheets are reporting this out, and you guys know how I am, dirt sheets, sometimes they get some stuff right, sometimes they get some stuff wrong, but it is true, right? If you think about it, AEW having that relationship with NJPW and Pro Wrestling Noah and all these companies, yeah, it does give them an advantage to signing free agents, but the disadvantage to that is Tony Khan doesn't have a good track record of signing people and making them a big deal long term. So there is some pros and cons to it, but Tony Khan has had some really good TV in the last 6 weeks. So, Ricky Starks, Action Andretti, some really good stuff there, obviously with Jericho and Sammy Guevara, Daniel Garcia. So if I'm AEW and I'm signing these free agents, you got to get these people in a way to kind of be hot-shotted or in big storylines right off the rip. It's like WWE brought in Dragon Lee. What are we going to see with him in WWE? Is he just going to be another guy? Is he going to be another Sin Cara? Like, you don't want that shit. We don't want that shit. We definitely don't want that shit. But if they brought in Dragon Lee, they shoot him up to the top. They do some big things with him, some big storylines where he's not just another luchador, right? Free agents might see that and be like, wow, look at how they handle Dragon Lee. So there's definitely an advantage, but there's also pros and cons to absolutely everything. We just got a donation on Ango.live. Give me 1 second, my friends. That was really cool. Let me log into that. I just saw on Ango.live we got a donation. So let's take a look. Thomas, thank you, Thomas, for the donation. Appreciate that. Thomas says, do you think Jey is leaving the Bloodline? Yeah, no, I mean, permanently, no. But you never know. I think that's the thing, right? It's like what I was saying earlier on the show. He announced on Instagram that he quit the Bloodline. I think deep down inside, the story was always about him in the championship. I think Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns, it logically makes more sense. But if that match happens, I do see him leaving the Bloodline. Does WWE go the route, though, of having, do they go the route of having Jey Uso not wrestle with Jimmy Uso for the rest of his WWE career? Like, it's weird. I don't know if the Usos could be singles guys. Like, I think they're so talented, but I just don't know how it would work. They're like twins, you know what I mean? Like, they look so similar. I don't know. That is hard. But I do think it would be sick if they went solo. I think both of those guys are good. Jey Uso deserves a freaking Emmy Award, bro, because look at how good his acting has been. Like, his crying and all that shit was incredible. Thank you, Thomas, for the $2 donation on Ango.live. Appreciate you. Let's see. So many comments in here. Alex Johnson says, Ango, what did you think of Liv and Rhea's women's Royal Rumble match performance from Saturday night? Incredible. I would have never guessed, honestly, that Liv Morgan would have been number 2 in the match and then finished number 2 in the match. I like that. I thought this was the 6th women's Royal Rumble match that they've had. I thought it was absolutely incredible. Honestly, I thought this was the best women's Rumble they've ever had. Because it's logical, bro. It's logical storytelling. The eliminations made sense. You didn't have Trish Stratus and like 10 different legends show up for no reason. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was good stuff because of the fact that they're literally like building people up. You got a lot of NXT talent in the match as well, a chance to get exposed. If you go to the Royal Rumble, yeah, you want those big pops, but then we complain that WWE aren't pushing their talent. Triple H did that, and he did it to the 2 people who deserved it. Liv Morgan deserved it, man. Liv Morgan dropped her title, and people were pissed off about it. You still got to make Liv Morgan look strong. They made Liv Morgan look strong, and I appreciate that. Albert says, isn't Dragon Lee going straight to NXT? If true, I do not want Jey in WWE unless it's straight to the main roster. Yeah, Jay White would go straight to the main roster. Dragon Lee going to NXT, I think, is because WWE is specifically trying to get more indie/international talent on the NXT brand. So that way, before they go to the main roster, they're changing the way NXT is. So, Albert, I'm sure you remember this because we had talked about this on the channel months and months ago. Before NXT 2.0 transitioned to NXT White, Black, and Gold, I talked about how WWE had plans to change NXT as a hybrid of what it used to be. This is how they're going to be able to do it. Excuse me. Jesse Sweet says, I like Roxanne Perez. I see her being a future WWE champion, and I think Jey would be fine on his own. Yeah, I like Roxanne Perez. She's absolutely incredible. She definitely looked like she could mix it up very well. I really like the spot with her and Rhea Ripley as well. That was a really cool spot to kick things off. So I definitely appreciated that for sure. Awesome job reporting wrestling news. Guys, I'm not a reporter. I'm just an analysis. I like to talk about wrestling. I like to give you guys my opinions, my fantasy booking, all these different things, which this actually reminds me to ask you guys, do you like this live format? Because I want to do live streams on a daily basis, and I'm trying to figure out what is the best time to do it. All of these different things. There's a lot of, I do videos, I do shorts. I want to do more live streams. So it just depends on what's the time. Let me know what you guys think about this type of format. I like being able to talk to you guys directly, talk about wrestling stuff. And then, of course, I'll do my normal wrestling news videos, but stuff like this, we could talk about wrestling and answer questions and just chat and hang out and bullshit and everything. So, yeah, Let me know if you guys like the live streams and what time do you think I should do it. What's your opinion on new Asuka? Well, as somebody who's very familiar with Kana, I was actually very thrilled to see what they have done with Asuka. Personally speaking, I like that she went back. I like it. She's one of my favorite wrestlers on the women's roster, so I'm super excited to see what they end up doing. Hey, Ango, what are your thoughts on what Triple H said in an interview that NXT Europe is coming? If so, do you think Nick Aldis is going to be a part of that? Yeah, actually, I do. You know, we've heard so much talk about WWE possibly bringing Nick Aldis in as a wrestler. There's been a lot of rumors and stuff. I could actually very much see a situation where WWE brings him in for a backstage role, and maybe wrestle sometimes, but for the most part, producing, being an agent or something. I can see that happening. I'm excited about NXT Europe. I will bring you guys more news on NXT Europe, but that's going to be on a separate video because we're still trying to gather some more information on it. But there's a lot of cool things happening with that for sure. Denisha says, yes, Ango, love the format. Ango, keep this time in the morning. Cool. AJ Marshall says, I like this live format better on YouTube. Appreciate you doing it. Will you be doing a pre-live for NXT pay-per-view? Sure, we can do like a predictions or whatever. I love NXT. I'll be live for NXT as well. Philip says, what happened to your sport channel? I was investing into it. Man, I love it, but I don't have time. My number one goal is to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. That is very difficult to do. I got to make sure my focus is on here with wrestling. So unfortunately, that's kind of how it is. But maybe eventually one day we'll get back to it. Freddie Washington says, Ango, can we get an update on Brian Cage, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks contract status and their WWE bound potential? Yes, but not at this time. I will definitely look at getting you some answers. Solid format, honestly. I like it, man. It's fun. I don't know. I still have to do my regular videos, but doing a live stream, maybe I'll do like a video at 10 o'clock, then live stream at 11 a.m. Eastern, and then like another video at 4 o'clock, and then maybe another live stream after Raw. Like maybe we could do something like that. I don't know. It's something definitely worth trying, though. That's for sure. Predictions on next NXT call up. Great question. Joe Gacy. And I won't say anything else. I just say Joe Gacy. I don't want to fantasy book anything else. Schism comes up to the main roster. Cool. Guys, I'm going to leave it at that. We've been doing this for almost an hour. I appreciate everybody stopping by. I'm going to have to get some more work done because, well, that's just the truth. I got to keep working. This is my job. So I want to get some work done, some graphic design done, some YouTube videos done, some short content done. But I appreciate everybody here. Appreciate you all so much. And if you're not in the Discord, make sure you check out the Discord. Give me a second. We're going to throw that up on there. As soon as a notification pops up for Ango, I am on it and watching. I appreciate that. So yeah, join the Discord server. You definitely don't want to miss that. If you're in the Discord, we'll chat. We'll try to figure things out. But yeah, I'm excited, man. We'll figure out times and stuff. You might see some random times pop up for live streams. Right now, we're just testing things out. But we're back. And I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you to everybody who super chatted. Thank you to everybody who liked the live stream. Thank you to everybody who stopped by. Thank you to everybody who supported the Ango Show. Thank you everybody for hanging out. I love you all. Appreciate y'all. And I'll see you next time.